Moving down here to my home state in Melbourne, the front page of the Herald Sun tomorrow reads, "Cruelest of cuts. Thousands of children with disabilities and life-threatening illnesses will lose desperately needed teachers as education staff cuts hits Victorian schools." Steve, it's a lot of doom and gloom here down in Melbourne, and this is pretty unfortunate news for those families that do have disadvantaged children.
It's not unfortunate, Sophie, it's a disgrace. These are people that are desperately needed in schools, and these carers, these assistants in classrooms can make a big difference between people reading or having just basic skills that they would not be able to have. And we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on NDIS money for probably these same kids, but then the Victorian government cuts funding from them. So let's get a bit of consistency. And they were talking about planning to cut 5,000 Victorian public servants, and that was quietly shelved recently because the CPSU, the public sector union, managed to do a deal with the government. So it's not okay to cut public sector staff in the offices in Exhibition Street, but we can cut teachers from classrooms.
Well, especially when they're working from home, many of them, they don't even have to come back into the office. Caroline, this is very sad news for a lot of families in Victoria that rely on these services, I would have thought.
Of course it is, and particularly for those vulnerable children. You know, it's hard. It's hard for parents. You know, they really worry about that they're getting a good education, they're getting good support, and they're being helped through. So this here is a shocking decision by this government. But you know, Daniel Andrews keeps telling us how empathetic he is, how empathetic his government is, what wonderful, cute, fluffy, cuddly people they are. And then this is actually the reality that gets dished up to Victorians. And I just think this here is particularly revolting. Like, you could cut funding on any manner of fluff in you know, the Victorian budget, and you go for something like this. The mind boggles.